everybody. We are live. You clearly cannot see me. And Robert, as usual, being talent, is late. And so he's putting on his shoes because he was doing the most. I am just getting situated here. Robert, talk to the people there.
What are we talking about?
Well, this week's topic is unconventional relationships. Thanks, Robert.
Yeah, this is an unconventional relationship, I guess. What's conventional? I don't know.
Ooh, that's a good question, Robert.
Yes.
Look at that.
Conventional is first, huh?
Hey, everybody joining. I am clearly not in the picture. Robert's supposed to be talking to y'all.
I'm just not really able to do it just a second. Wait for everything to get set up. Y'all know how I am when I'm distracted.
And he was distracted because he was playing, what were you playing, Destiny?
Yes.
Okay. That's all I'm going to say.
All right. There's some time to kill.
Playing Destiny.
Yeah. Sitting on the couch. Like not anywhere away from the camera or like literally sitting on the couch. Oh, it's the same spot.
I'm done with you.
Clear my voice up.
Anybody who cannot see me in the foreground, I am here. It is our anniversary. It's the anniversary special. Robert, where's your phone? I'm just doing the most right now.
Good.
Hi, everybody.
Good question.
Happy Thursday. Okay, I have your phone. Thank you for those who are joining. Yeah, and can you deal with this whole situation while I have this all there because I cannot see? Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining. I'm going to have to be sitting like a lady so I don't basic instinct anybody right now. So we can't have any.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, everybody. Good evening.
So I don't basic instinct anybody right now. Thank you. I have Robert dealing with stuff right now, and it wasn't the greatest idea, but you know, you try to delegate, and this is where we are.
Yeah, to see better.
How's everybody doing? Happy Thursday. Again, it's our anniversary. It's our anniversary. That's why I'm doing the most. And so y'all gonna be like, seeing all my breasts right now.
But I'm appreciative of her doing the most.
I appreciate you for appreciating me.
Get something to eat and probably come home and go sleep.
We're gonna come home and go to sleep like old people? I don't know what kind of sleep you're having when I come home, but sure. We gonna come home and go to sleep. I think not.
We keep drinking. Jeez.
Okay, so this week, as I'm like distracted and Robert's not doing his duty, we are talking about unconventional relationships. I want to thank everyone who filled out the poll. We're going to focus on one of the particular situations. We got some funny things that happened to us throughout the week. And so I think it will be interesting to share some of our funny things. Go with us this week. Of course, it's our anniversary. I did already say that, right? It's like the week I kept saying I was Jamaican, I guess.
Yes, that's today's thing. We're going to need to count that, but no, we ain't going to count. It's not fun today.
Okay, Robert. So, thank you, Angie. Hello, Queen J. Thank you for joining. We're going to give it a couple of minutes and get people in here because we got a lot to talk. Thank you. I appreciate you. I really am trying to not basic instinct anybody. So I'm going to because I'm doing the most. This is your everyday. Yeah. But I'm doing extra special the most for the peoples today. So I've got to make sure again I don't basic instinct anybody right now. Hey, cuz Life Hustle's on. Demandula. Hello, everybody. We're just waiting a couple minutes because we won't have a conversation today because the poll. And I got to give you a reasoning behind some of the poll questions that we asked today. And some of the things, some of the crazy things that happened in our life. And the reason we work because of the transparency we have and the conversations we have, and making sure that, you know, we always are in the loop with what's going on with each other, so that no one in these streets can say, listen, I'm big on protect your home. I think more than anything, like, that's the number one thing for us. Is like, protect your home base, make sure that home base is good, because thank you. I actually do feel very royal right now. I feel like I won like I'm going for like prom queen.
Well,
but I don't know if I would have wore this dress. I mean, actually, I probably would have wore this dress to my prom because I'd be doing the most. But I digress. But I'm saying, listen, since the pandemic, I don't really go out that much, and he's not really a date person. He's not the most romantic, let me take you out for a date. I know I'm going to have to tell the story. I'm going to wait till more people come on because I may not make it through this story.
We had months of date night, and it was like, okay, we're a little situated, let's focus, and, you know, you just act like I abandoned you and abandoned everything, and...
The last time we went on a date, I took him on a date because I believe in that. I think, yes, it was last month when I took you to Kingman's house or whatever, the seafood place.
That was excellent.
It was an excellent date.
I appreciate it.
I even, I came home and gave you some too. Like, I took the mouse that night. Okay? I'm just saying, like, I put out everything after I paid. Like, so, I'm just saying, like, when I take you on date nights, I go all the way out. I'm just saying. Hey, Joanne, girl. I was telling my girl Joanne's on and letting her know because she might be telling me about my outfit later that I'm trying not to basic instinct. But, girl, I told you I'd be doing the most for the anniversary, so here we are.
Yes.
There's not that much conventional stuff about me. Like, if you look up conventional in the dictionary, my picture is nowhere near.
At least it's still weather appropriate. It's not like it's 32 degrees outside and sleet or nothing like that, and she dressed like that. Then it's like, girl, what are you doing?
I know, we in Arizona. You said 32 and I thought 32 degrees Celsius.
No, I'm talking about 0 degrees Celsius.
Oh, okay. No. I wouldn't be that. I would have on a whole cat suit, like from head to toe. The boobs would still be out. I mean, it is what it is.
All right.
I paid for them, so. Thank you.
She knows you the best.
I'm just saying, the girls came to play tonight. So, unconventional relationships is going to be the topic, but we're going to be talking about transparency and making sure.
Anniversary wishes.
Thank you for all the anniversary wishes and making sure that you are having. I guess we could call it different conversations, but there are people that are not having conversations in the relationship. And like I said, the primary thing for us is to protect our home. And we had to go through some bumps in the road to learn how important that is. But we make it a priority now that protecting our home is the number one priority. And the problem is, if people know more about your relationship out in these streets, that's never good for you. And right now, thank you, Cuzzo. And right now, people be keeping receipts. So I am, like, people be keeping receipts on conversations people are having. People be throwing things on Twitter and, IG, TV, and all of these reels and putting people's business out on the street. But the thing about if your partner knows your business, no one can embarrass you, right?
Yeah.
So we're gonna tell some interesting stories, but we're gonna give it a second. Again, thank you for people who filled out the poll. If anybody has any questions, how is life out there? Not how is life.
I don't know, maybe don't do that.
Maybe it's how is life. I'm just joking. I'm joking.
Yeah.
How is life in Arizona? It's good. It's still warm. I get to hike mountains, and I get to take romantic walks to the car.
And we're actively recruiting. There's an unofficial campaign to recruit black people to Arizona because there's a deficit.
There is definitely a deficit.
So if you like the desert and heat and
hiking,
there's a lot going on, though.
There's a lot. Listen, when I moved here, I didn't know what to expect, but I have actually become an avid avid hiker. I hike several times a week. There's a particular mountain that's very close to our house. I walk there. It's quite fantastic. You know,
beautiful city. It's clean.
So we're doing.
It's just a lot of white people.
There is definitely Arizona, Phoenix, Tempe, Scottsdale is definitely not Toronto. If you don't know, that's where I grew up. And, you know, Toronto, of course, is the most diverse. You and Robin, yes, the twins came out today. Listen, I am about to leave after this and go enjoy a great anniversary dinner. So the girls came out. They are feeling special tonight. I'm just saying, pay homage. Anyway. Yes, and my step counts are still high. My cousin be trying to do step challenges with me, and he be losing all the time.
Honestly, she's an industrious lady. Like, I give it to her. She is like clockwork on it. What's it, Mr. London?
I work out with Mr. London.
Mr. London with his little goofy EDM music. But it's a legit workout, son. I mean, he gets it in. And his number support him. Shout out to Mr. London. She's a big avid supporter. She does her little steps and little beeps and whatever. Then she gets out the door. She does her hike. And again, she talks a lot about how she doesn't work. But she's a very industrious young lady. Like she said, she's Jamaican. So she works very hard producing this. You know, not your typical girl talk, which we do on Saturdays, and which she invited me to be a part of, so we also do that. And I mean, she's just, it takes a lot of effort just to try to get, you know, those of you that are already in here sharing with us, joining, you know, we're trying to build a following, build a conversation, build a little bit of a wave around, you know, how we're moving and stuff. So we appreciate our day ones, our early supporters. But she's working hard, man. She's working really hard.
Hey, Twin Six.
It's just that there's not a whole lot of dollars coming in behind it. And that's how empires get built, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? They say overnight success takes 10 years. So when you see people and it looks like they're just blowing up and stuff like that, trust me, they've been down on what they're doing for a little while.
Very true. Thank you. Thanks, sweet. Look at you feeling the anniversary. Look at that. Sippy that.
Girl talk joints.
I tried to ply him with alcohol. Hello, ladies. My girls are here, Garcia and Telly. I plied him with some alcohol today. We had some mimosas before the show, so I think that's why he's being extra sweet. So I got a funny story to tell, and I really need to get through this.
Okay.
So I've already said Rob is not the most romantic person. He admits it, I say it, it's fine. So last night, before we went to bed, I was all up in my feels because, you know, anniversary's coming. He's not a big card person. He's not a much of anything person, right? So I said, Rob, for the next 24 hours, I want romance. I want all the romance. I just need you to do for 24 hours. And what did you say? Because I can't.
And I wasn't trying to be a dick though, but I was really trying. I was just keeping it a buck because, you know, again, how things move. She doesn't always have exposure to all of that. So I was like, you know what else is romantic? Me not exposing you to the stress of how tight money is right now. And she busted out laughing, and that was the response I was looking for. She understood what I was saying.
I don't pay bills. I don't pay. So I take long romantic walks to the car I don't pay for. I actually have not been to a gas station. I don't know how gas gets in the car. I turn on the lights, it still works. And I open the fridge and he gives me the allowance to go and put groceries in the fridge. So I thought that was, I'm trying not to laugh at the show, but I thought it was the funniest thing. And I thought about how many women would get actually offended by it, but I was like, I'm in a position where I don't pay bills, so that actually is pretty romantic. Freedom to not have to worry how bills are paid is romantic. So he has been romancing me since I got here.
You know me, I might be over there like count to 2, carry the 4. You know, like there's been a lot of upgrades to our life recently, like this.
Sorry.
And she don't know nothing about that. And that's how we both would prefer it to be, you know what I mean? So I was like, keep in mind, you know, that is kind of romantic though. Like when you get up and you're Mr. London, like, you know, you're doing it in front of a nice big TV.
It's a 75-inch. He does. I do my Mr. London in front of a 75-inch TV with a 55-inch TV in the bedroom and lights that work that I didn't pay for. I don't walk to the mailbox because I don't have mail to look up because there's no bills in my name. So in his mind, that was the best gift he could ever give.
It's not roses necessarily, you know what I'm saying? But again, we're doing all right. You know?
So I needed to say to the ladies, if you have a man that really supports and takes care of you, but may not love you necessarily the way you think he should in the most romantic, because we all want to talk about this R&B, you know, if it doesn't feel like 90s R&B love, then it isn't for me. I think the most romantic thing a man can do is make sure you don't have to worry about how the lights turn on.
Yeah, but like, and ladies, can y'all be honest? We had a whole conversation the other week about the 80-20 rule, and everyone was on board, but y'all still will sit down and be like, so how are we going to get that other 20% taken care of?
I had that moment with him last week. I won't even lie.
And I was just kind of like, for real? Like, we really, like, what about this good 80 over here? We just going to let that... We're not going to worry about that. We're going to really focus on how to figure out that other 20% too. And we had fun with it because it was just kind of me pointing out and kind of reassessing the evaluation of, like, you know, what are you really talking about, you know? Because, yeah, she does have a lot of freedom in how she moves on the day-to-day. And sometimes she, in that free time, she's like, you know what? I'm not happy. And I'm like, yeah, because you have all that free time and lack of worry. You know, when you can be unhappy is when you're not worried. Like me, I be worried because I gotta take care of myself. You know what I'm saying? Rose, yo, come here and say, give me my roses. I understand.
I'm giving him his roses.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
We having fun with it. We're gonna have a romantic dinner. Like, trust me, it's gonna be really romantic.
So here's the thing. I had to realize that, and we did a poll, and I'll give the results. I mean, when I wasn't here and we were not together, which was, you know, a year ago, and I had to worry about me, I had 100% of the worry. So he's very right. When you are out there hustling, grinding, making sure that things are done and on the way, things are different. Now I have time to go and meditate on top of a mountain, so I have apparently plenty of time to find reasons to be unhappy while he takes the not so romantic walks to the mailbox to make sure the bills are paid. I mean, whatever. I love you so much. I appreciate it.
It works for us both, you know. She allows me to move in a way and be belligerent and when I need to be. And like I said, it's definitely a two-way street, like you said. She's 100% her lane and 100% mine. And
that's our definition of 50-50. And I think that, you know, it's so interesting when people are saying, I want a 50-50 relationship. I want things equal. And, you know, he should go out and work and he should also come in and clean up after himself. Or she, like... that wouldn't work for us. And I'm not saying it's for everybody. I'm not saying that walking away from the corporate world and leaving that behind to have the ability to pursue your passions, listen, I will forever love this man because he's put me in a situation where he's like, babe, you know, when I put out my book, he says, and I was mad the first time he said it. He was like, I don't care. I don't care if you sell 10 books.
No, I said I'll be happy.
I'd be happy if you said, oh, you only sell 10 bucks.
You only sell 10 books.
I was like, this nigga, what do you think? I'm a good book. But after I took a moment, I understood what he was saying. And Joanne, my girlfriend Joanne was like, get your life because this is what the man said. He's basically saying, no matter what, I'm proud of you because you're out there and you're grinding and you're doing your thing and you're doing a lot more than other people are doing. And I want to give you Right?
And so a lot of people.
And I sold more than $10. But
Yeah,
by the way, no handouts for Black Girl, available on Amazon. I also have a 6-part series called the Sienna series, and I have my 8th book that will be coming out in March. It's also going to be called Fuck Your Feelings, Love Unfiltered, so watch out for that. I got things going on. But anyways, I will forever love him because he's put me in a position that I don't have to worry about my day-to-day existence and has allowed me to work on my passion. It's put us in a more traditional role. I've had to take a step back. But let me tell you something, ladies. There's nothing better than trading your independence for your freedom. And that's what I did. All the women independent, that was all great, but I was tired. I was working sometimes 60-hour weeks, still having to be there for my teenage daughter at the time, making sure that she's good, not helping her navigate her world, trying to be there for my friends, trying to do all of that, and that got exhausting. I had been working since I was 17 years old, taking care of my mother, and then when I had a baby at 21, taking care of her. So I've been basically taking care of 3 people since I was 21. I am going to be 42 next month. That becomes exhausting. I did it out of necessity, not because I wanted to. I didn't want to be in the driver's side. I wanted to be like white women who you see when you're on a long road trip with their feet out the window doing this. That's how I wanted my life to be. I wanted to be carefree. This is what I wanted to be doing with my foot up, but I didn't have that. And now that I do, and now that I found someone who supports me, he may not pick up his drawers, but that's fine because I don't pick up them bills. So I'm gonna say I'm my little preacher.
And just, that's part of it for sure, and I appreciate you. But it's like, all right, audience, like, what is one thing men don't do the greatest job of? Is take care of themselves.
Ooh, amen.
Like, I take care of her in the house and my daughter and my business, and that is that takes a lot. You know, that's a full-time job, and she takes care of me in a way that I don't care to take care of myself. Like, this woman be like forcing me to do certain things, and it's like. You might be like, it's not that I would do for myself, but it's not negative experience at all either, though. You know, I don't, well, you know, these days, these guys that got as extensive beauty routines as some of you ladies out here, but I'm not particularly one of them. I do like to try to keep my hair cut and my beard kind of neat, and, you know, sometimes she has to be like, you didn't shower today. And, hey, you know, sometimes that's accurate.
If you leave at night, I'm like, are you gonna go make your dirty skin? I understand you've been working all day, but damn, like, and then I lotion him. Here's the thing, I lotion him. I make sure he's good. I take pride in taking care of him. Sorry, baby.
No, and those things they don't seem like big deal things, or seems like she's doing extra, or it maybe like again in modern definitions of relationships that does seem kind of extra, but I'm like, it is extremely appreciated, you know, for real, because it's, you know, if it wasn't for her putting lotion on me sometimes, I wouldn't have no lotion.
No, I didn't be ashy.
You know what I'm saying? Like, just it is what it is, because I'm not particularly. That's just not at the forefront of most of my thoughts, you know what I'm saying? Like, unless I'm trying to go be somewhere presentable or something like that, then I try to do it. You know, her and again Joanne, they've been killing me on like my wardrobe and certain style choices and cuts and stuff like that. So I'm figuring out, and then again, guys, like, listen to the women in your life sometimes. Like, don't argue all the time about how, like, we like what we like, definitely, and, you know, I'm still have those pieces and things, but I'm incorporating their feedback and their advice. Yeah, she just do a bunch of stuff.
I do a bunch of stuff. I do the laundry. I fold the clothes. Like, this man, like, he really, and it's not a bad thing. I take pride in do all that stuff. And so therefore,
For sure.
I
Thank
can go in and throw away things. So I started throwing away things that I didn't like, but I also replace them. Do not get it twisted. When I go out, I don't shop for myself only. I shop for the house. So I will go in and get him pieces to replace the crap that I don't like that I'm throwing away. But I digress. Go on.
No, that was the case. But follow their lead. And on the same front, sometimes ladies, like, y'all be having male cousins and brothers and uncles and dads, and it's like, y'all don't listen to these dudes at all. And it's like, maybe you might want to start doing that, because I don't know. There's just, it's like we've stressed independence so much of like the individual. And I'm me, I'm unique, I'm a snowflake. They're like, they got real crazy out here, in my opinion. Like people always gotta, man.
No, the snowflakes, sir.
Yeah. I'm a snowflake, Like, okay, sure. It's like 7 billion people in the world, you know what I'm saying? But you're a snowflake. All right. And I'm being facetious, but I'm being real too. I'm like, I do kind of miss a era where our celebrities were talented.
Do you need water?
A little bit. I don't know what just happened.
Sorry, people. I have to get up and grab him water. Hopefully I don't.
But like, where our celebrities were really talented, not just popular. You know what I'm saying? And speaking of which, like, and it's funny because we are chasing popularity to a certain extent. You know what I mean? That is, viewership is the measure of, these social media ventures, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But one thing that we're not doing it in the ways of like trying to be a popular. Like I remember being in high school and thinking to myself like how inconsequential popularity actually is, because you're in that space with folks that in a few years, there's going to be so much diversity to where life is taking all of you individually, like that. It's like that to me, it was like the definition of like worried about how many people like you. So to see like now we are all these years later in a world that is dominated literally by likes. It's hella interesting, but I'm here for the ride. I'm willing to participate. We're gonna do this every Thursday because this has become our thing. This is like
He's rambling now.
Our week is tied into it. Absolutely.
Rambling. So I'm going to say why that ties into unconventional relationships is I think when you choose an unconventional path, it's an unpopular path. And that's why anything that is usually not the society norm. And so some of the things that we do, some of the things that, the ways that we operate, for some people it's like, what? Like that's what you guys do, that's what you guys talk about. So I'm going to give a story because it's part of the poll. So I asked a couple of questions on this poll, and one particular question got people riled up that I was getting inboxes, and it was actually hilarious. And the question stemmed from a situation that he and I were going through that kind of wrapped up today. So I asked the question both on my personal page and I asked it on this page. So the question was, men, and for the men it said, are you okay with your woman spending the weekend away with her male friend? On my page, which is my page is Toshiba Monique, 8% said yes, 92% said no. On this page, 100% of men said no. I asked the same question to the ladies, and again, the question is, are you okay with your man spending the weekend away with his female friend? The ladies on my page said 26% said yes, 74% said no, and on this page 100% of the ladies said hell to the no. How this question came about, let me tell this story. I have our number one rule in our relationship is no disrespect. We haven't defined what disrespect is, but we know it, right? We don't need to define what it is. We don't need to have a list of things that we find disrespectful. I think if you feel in your heart it's disrespectful, it's disrespectful. And so I'm clearly here. I'm away from everybody. I clearly had a whole life before him as he had a whole life before me. Well, I have a male, and I'm putting friends in quotation right now because of the development that happened today. So I have a male friend that I've known for 15, almost 20 years. He is a football coach. He just got a super great job at a wonderful HBCU. So he's reached the pinnacle of his career where he comes to where he wants to be, other than being in the NFL. So he wanted me to come out to the state that he was in to visit him and watch one of his games. I said, and I actually said to Rob, I have this friend, this is the situation. Rob said to me, if he truly wants you to visit and he knows you have a man, the respectful thing would be for him to come to me and ask me as your man, like, yo, bro, like, whatever. So that's what I said. Because I wasn't going to say yes, because I'm not going to say yes, because, again, that's not my inclination to be like, I'm about to go pack up my bags, roll them out, and get on a plane to see some next man, but I'm also going to have the conversation with him. So I said, hey, if you're really serious about that, you can have a conversation with my boyfriend. Rob and I are very public. We have this whole show. Like, it's not like I'm hiding the relationship. He's all over my page. So it came to blows today that he came back to me and said, hey, what's the deal, blah, blah, blah. I said, yo, I keep telling you, if you're really serious, you will go to my boyfriend and have a conversation. I said, I'm not saying no. So he was basically like, I can't read it because it's on my phone, but he was like, he's basically like, is he going to say no? I'm like, I don't know what he's going to say, but he's going to have questions, because I don't know any man who's okay with their women like packing up her bag for the weekend and chucking a deuce. Rob happened to be out of the house at the moment. When he came back, I said, and he said, how would I get in touch with him? I said, I would give you his number, so again, man to man, you can have that conversation. Right. This is where it got messy. This is where I was like, I will not be going on any planes. He then proceeded to send me another message that basically saying, for the last 15 years, he's wanted to get with me, and when we had opportunities and when we were in the same places, it never happened, and he just basically wanted to let me know that. So I proceeded to say, well, thank you for the honesty and revelation. I clearly will not be getting on no plane now and going nowhere. Rob, take it away.
I mean, first off, that's not the type of throuple we're looking for. Right there. But second off, it's like, again, the reason it went from like kind of amusing and light, and it wasn't even like serious until it's like it kept reoccurring as a topic. I was like, yo, like, he knows about me though, right? You know what I'm saying? And not even like there's a question to that, like I know the answer to this. So the only reason I put it like that is because as a man to man, like just like I wouldn't go ask some dude no question like that, knowing that my intention is to pursue her romantically, as we've said earlier. You know what I mean? So I put it like that, like, okay, because again, who's got the audacity to ask a man for permission to like court his woman? Like, that's kind of what
Rob was like, what do I look like? Saying he ought to be pursued by some next man.
Like a fucking dipshit. Like, what is wrong with you, bro? Like, and so it left like that. So, and it was kind of just to be like, why? Like, if you're really gonna keep pursuing this issue, you're gonna kind of make me feel like I have to speak on it. You know what I mean? And I really want to remain completely out of it. Because, like, what are you really talking about? Like, seriously?
Yeah.
And then you just let all the which again, I know was your intention from day one, but you kind of smoothing into it, and that's why it's like 15 years go by, and this woman still is like, I don't know. I've never had, like, I don't do the crush thing and all that shit. But.
I have nothing to say. I have nothing. That's why I spoke to you. I'm not. Here was the thing. I'm gonna be open and honest. And this is what I told Rob today. I've had situations where I was in a relationship and operated as a single person. And that was basically what I had, that conversation I had with and again, I'm putting now in quotations because of what happened today. But I said, I'm in a relationship, I'm not going to operate as a single person. In my last live-in relationship, men without me, twins is honest, I cannot be French, just period. So, and you know, in my last live-in relationship, which was about 10 years ago, I remember, and it wasn't with another man, but I remember I would make, you know, girls trips planned, and I happened to have dinner one night with my girls, and I came home, and he was like, how was dinner? I'm like, you know, it was great, blah, blah, blah. We're making plans to go on our, you know, girls trip to Miami. Girls trip. He knows what my friends look like. So girls trip to Miami, and I remember him looking at me like, so you guys are just, you're just gonna make plans and not consult me. And I have to be honest, in that moment, I wasn't in tuned enough or probably cared enough to understand that that was a little bit disrespectful. It wasn't that he was trying to control me. It was that, yo, like, you're just not going to say anything. You're just going to tell me what you're going to do. And so I looked at him and I was like, the fuck are you, my daddy? Like, yeah, I'm going to do a girls trip to Miami. I've grown and learned. It's been 10 years, so clearly I've grown and learned since then. And for me, again, it wasn't a matter, it's not like I'm asking Rob for permission or Rob is asking me for permission. It is a respect. If he tried to pack, or actually asked me to pack his clothes, because I'm the one packing them, and he was wheeling off some suitcase on some weekend trip with an old friend from the past, oh no. So I expect the same, I would assume he would expect the same level of treatment. Yeah, I'd love to see my friend. I haven't seen him in years. Yes, I'm proud of the accomplishment he's done. Yes, I would love to be there to cheer him on at his football game as the coach. However, I had to draw a line because you had now disrespected the relationship I was in. And if I don't show respect for my relationship, no one's going to show respect for my relationship.
That part. That's a big part. And then to touch on it is like what she was saying earlier about the story, you know, is like, and this sounds really abrasive, I know. We was talking about it earlier. She was like, people probably not gonna like you saying that. But she don't tell me nothing. Like, men don't like women telling them stuff. Like, we tell y'all stuff. You know what I mean? Like, if you're having to tell your man all the time things about, like, you need to take care of this, you need to do that, you need to, like, y'all relationship are out of whack. You know what I'm saying? Like, seriously. And I've been in that kind of relationship before. That's why I know. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I'm operating in my best energy, she don't gotta tell me nothing. I'm in sync to everything going on in this house. And when she's in her best energy, she wants for nothing. You know what I'm saying? But some of y'all got it so jammed up that some of your wants and your needs, you got hella confused. You know what I mean? And I joke with her, I'm the man she needs. I'm not necessarily...
I feel like with every inch over 6 feet, the universe was fucking like, bitch, you wanted a man over 6 feet. Here's one that's 6'9", but he gonna come with all the shit that you gotta deal with. God knows my heart. I'm just
every day annoying nigga like.
But here's the thing, and we have to, and this is why we want to talk about unconventional relationships. Again, the world will tell you, feminism will tell you, the TV shows will tell you, your girlfriends will probably tell you, girl, you gotta whip that man in shape, and girl, you gotta do this, and don't let no man tell you to do this, and some of your mamas have told you, you gotta be up there and independent, and we know about the mad money, we know about all of that. That all sounds good in theory. It sounds great in theory, but I have to tell you, and I have to ask the woman, if you are in a relationship with a man that you have to mold, or in a relationship with a man who you have to direct, or in a relationship with a man that you have to motivate to want and do more, is that not exhausting?
Sounds like it.
That's gotta be exhausting. And what that does is it puts you outside of your feminine energy and you have to take on a masculine energy. So now you got, as Rob would say, 2 niggas in the house. That doesn't work. It's off whack. and you become, girl, that's my cousin, right? Exactly, that's hella exhausted. So you are exhausted, and now you're looking at this man sideways like, really? I don't want to do that. And so, again, you know, I remember somebody calling him a misogynist, and I was so upset about it. I was so upset about it because, you know, people are showing, you know, a man being a man now is misogynist, and he's this, and all he doesn't like women, and black men aren't protecting women, and all of those different things. But here's the thing: I grew up with a father who was always the driver, and he taught me, babe, a man is supposed to protect and provide. When you have a man, that is his main duty. If you cannot find a man who will protect and provide for you, leave that man, because there's no balance in that relationship. I, for the first time, am entrenched in my feminine energy. I got my moments because I'm Jamaican that I be doing, but then I catch myself. I have been in where I'm like, okay, maybe that was one word too many, so I'm just gonna be like, it wasn't a disrespectful word, but I can tell the look on his face that it's basically like, look at that I need to, I can't do anymore. But that is where we're supposed to be, and I think we operate best. You cannot operate from a space of depletion. And if you are entrenched in the corporate world in your male energy, and then you got to come home, because the reality is, in the corporate world, when I was out there making the money and doing the things and operating in that space, it was a lot of male energy. It was a lot of, because you're making boss moves, right? We're making boss moves. Boss moves, a lot of it was entrenched. Unless you're having your own business and able to operate in the way that you want, in order to rise through those ranks, to get to those directorship roles, which my last role, I was a regional manager and I was a director of this and all these titles, you are a little bit entrenched in male energy. So now you've got to come home where you're supposed to be able to be like, and let it go, and then you're also supposed to be taking care of this man. Oh, hell no. So I want to read this. Amen. Experienced that with my ex. Husband takes care of his family, and it makes life much easier. I get to be loved and taken care of instead of being tired of pushing a man to do what needs to be done. Thank you, cuz. Done.
Yeah, pretty much it, you know.
And Twin Zing said I said Jamaican one time. He's counting.
One time he's counting. You know what I mean? All day long. But
you lost your train of thought. Okay, so no, but I really want us to think. This is why we asked the question: do modern relationships work? And I know a lot of people in the poll, I think 67% of people said yes. But what is really a modern relationship these days?
Right, and I think modern relationship is that relationship where you get into that concept of 50-50, like partnerships. Like, I got a career, she's got a career, we're both gonna have it all, and somehow we're gonna commingle all of this, you know. And that went down in flames for me. And you know, there's a lot of extra context for that, whatever, and it led me to where I'm at, so I'm totally cool with all of it. But like, I really feel, and this is gonna, again, one of those moments where y'all not gonna necessarily
Clutch your pearls!
But especially black women,
oh Lord,
y'all's success in academia and corporate America is just as big of a part as the failure of our families as the absence of males.
Let's see how many people gonna log off now.
That's just how I see it, though. Like, and again, I don't blame any of us. Like, look here, we've been, ever since we were free from bondage, we've just been trying to figure it out, generation after generation after generation. Like, me and her, we both share that perspective. Like, if you look at most, like, I come from a family with a lot of dysfunction. She comes from a family with a lot of dysfunction, you know. We try to make the best out of it, but we both wild people in our own rights, you know what I'm saying? And I hate that concept that, like, there's some totally healthy, normal, perfectly adjusted set of people walking around there. There's no such thing, man. We all got our stuff. So the reason I say that is that y'all focus became degrees and promotions instead of just holding down the crib. And I know it's like, oh, because men was gone, and it's the chicken and the egg, and that'll be a whole other debate on that. But regardless of how you say it, and it ties into another one of the poll questions of, if I'm a doctor and she's a lawyer and the kids get sick, who stays home? And the majority of the
100% of the people said ladies. The mom stays home. The mom stays home.
So if that's the case, how important can mom's career really be?
You're going to piss a lot of people off with that one.
I'm just saying, like, I know. But again, when mom has had to be dad and all of the above, and there's certain situations, like, there's women that have had to step up to take care of kids and children and families because they men were just straight bums or whatever. But there's also, we have to hold a certain accountability to women for having kids with bums too. Like, you can't be like, that's why I gotta do all of this other stuff. And like, again, I'm big on, like, I think that's, again, one of the modern mistakes is not enough consequence is given to children. It's a big deal. Blending families is not easy. It's a big deal, and it's not something you just... Some people go through like 10, 11 relationships over the course of their children's lives. Like, that's a lot. You're putting your kids through a lot.
Here's the thing.
And I don't want to do that. I know
No.
That's why where we at.
That's where we're at. That's why I had been in relationships while my daughter was younger, but absolutely, like, I definitely tried not to do that. Let me read this. COVID has kind of changed it all. Removed work makes it easy to do both, but we also can't let our dreams pass because we have a family.
Interesting. Can I go first on that? I want to just respond to that. Absolutely not 100%. Chase them dreams. Are you telling me your dream is to be like a VP of marketing at Coke? Because I can't see that. No, I don't know any kids that grew up with that as their dream. She dreamed of being an author and a media personality and someone that was like a brand. So she's chasing her dreams. But chasing dreams don't make money. You know what I'm saying? Maybe your dream. that's where they're laughing.
And here's the thing. And because it's laughing, because again, when you're younger, you hear all these different messages, right? You get all of these different messages. I think if most women were honest with themselves, they want to be able to pursue a passion or a dream. They don't want to work out of necessity. A lot of us got into the workforce because of necessity. And I remember when my therapist, and again, I'm going to talk about therapy over and over in the show. I remember when my therapist had a conversation with me, and she told me to put to rest the woman who I had been, the woman who needed to protect me, but she could not go any further with me if I really wanted this life. The life that I was living wasn't the one I necessarily wanted. I was living it out of necessity. I needed to work. I needed to take care of my mother. I needed to take care of my daughter. I needed to put 100% of the responsibility of myself. But the life that I wanted, that I aspired for, that woman couldn't go with me because she wouldn't work in this situation. And I had to put her to bed, and I had to let go of her, and I basically had to put her to rest and say, thank you for taking this ride with me, but if I need to go on the rest of the journey, you can't come with me. And if I'm honest, yes, I think I've met people who wanted to be lawyers and doctors and all of these different things in their life, but a lot of us were doing things out of necessity. And if given a chance, because another one of the poll questions was, ladies and gentlemen, ladies, how much of the household bills are you responsible for? It was 0 to 25, 25 to 75, and 75 to 100. All the women said 0 to 25. All the men said 75 to 100%. If we're truly honest with ourselves, women, and I used to get in a lot of trouble for being like, I am not living with a man who looks at me at the end of the month and asks me if my half of the mortgage is in the account. I don't want a roommate. My roommate's or child is in the house, which is why I didn't say that out loud, but that's not what I want. I'm going to be in a situation where I paid 0%, not $5. I used to get in. Men were like, nobody's gonna want to be with you because I don't know, you're trying to be this independent woman, but you want to be traditional and you're doing this. And I stuck with my guns. When we met and we had that conversation, I was like, my ideal life is this. And I set it out to him. I was very clear about, this is what I want, this is what works for me. And if you can't give it to me, that's fine. Someone will. And he was on board, but I never wavered. Because after, again, working since I was 17, going up through the ranks, being busy, working 60-hour weeks, that's backbreaking. I don't know any woman who says when they were a little girl, that's what I want to sign up for.
Well,
nobody.
And the reason I think that most, especially as men, are really waking up into like this whole toxic masculinity message, like kind of crap. Like, what are you really talking about with that? Like, men should be able to be men and women should be able to be women. And people that choose to not be either one or both or whatever the hell they got going on should be able to pursue all of that too. Like I said, whole other sidebar right there. But again, there's a lot going on in the world today. But here's the logic behind that. And this is where, again, a lot of things have gotten off of the bars. I, as a man, should be independent. Whether she is on this sofa with me or not, I have to pay these bills. I have to pay my own rent. I have to pay my own... I have to pay for my own life, regardless of whether she is sitting on the sofa with me or not. So... if I should be maintaining this regardless of her, isn't it weird for me once she comes in to be like, hey, I need you to, here's the budget, I need you to cover this, and even further along, I think that maybe that shouldn't be my focus if I'm not in a place where I can take care of business in that way. And I went through and experienced all of that. So I am speaking of, like, in the times that I wasn't, I'm my own biggest critic, Like, I'm not the guy that's going to sit up here and be, like, trying to be like, oh, I talk one way and I live another way. I'm like, no, the reason that I'm talking the way that I'm talking now is because I done took them lumps, I done took my blows, and I'm getting myself up off of all of that. And the life that I'm building moving forward, I was very succinct and very distinct about that. Because that's what I learned on my journey of being a full-fledged grown man. And that process never ends. That's a process that I will be going through until I die, okay? And I think her being a full-fledged grown woman, like, you're never done growing up.
Yeah.
That's another thing they don't tell you in school when you're little. You should never be done growing up. The minute you get there, like, I know everything, and can't nobody tell me, man, you are guaranteed to bust your ass.
And I think one of the, we've talked about dating with intention, but we realized that this week that there's also having a relationship with intention. Yes. Right? There are people who are in relationships going with the flow, right? They're kind of going with wherever the wind blows them. And I don't think most women want to operate in that space. I think if you're going to get into a relationship and have a title, you want to know that that title will change to another title, right? Most girlfriends eventually want to be wives. Most, I'm not going to speak for all women, I think most women want to eventually be wives. They want to go from girlfriend to fiance to wife. Are you requiring things of your partner? Are you actually being honest about the things that you want, or are you in such a fear of loss that you don't require much of it? And it was funny, I was telling my girlfriend a story and Rob overheard, and when it was done, Rob was like, I grew up not having women requiring shit of me. So I gave them the very basic minimum that I would give them because they didn't require anything of me. Because, so when they didn't require me, I didn't give them anything. As men and women, if we're going to give ourselves and our time to other people, we should be requiring something of them, whatever that is. And you have to be okay with loss. When we got together a year ago, we were very clear what we required from each other as individuals and collectively, what we required, and they happened to align. Had they not, we would not be sitting on this couch having this show, even having this anniversary. We were very clear of what that was. And unfortunately, a lot of people go into things and have companionship, but they're not necessarily having a relationship. This title that I have means that I am significantly more important than the other women in his life, whether we like it or not. And sometimes that includes his own mama.